So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another presentation here this morning from the Canadian TradeX Mining the Northwest virtual trade show. We've got a tremendous response this morning, literally hundreds of participants from all across Northwestern Ontario, Northeastern Ontario. And I know for a fact that we've even had some participants from as far away as Chile this morning. I did run into a lady from Chile this morning. So thank you to everyone for being here. And we're going to introduce Paul, who is the regional resident geologist for Red Lake and Kenora. And Paul is going to give us an update on the big picture stuff. So Paul, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thanks for having me. My name is Paul Malegus. I'm the regional resident geologist for the Red Lake and Kenora districts of the Ontario Geological Survey. And today I'll be giving a brief presentation on advanced mineral projects in Northwestern Ontario. Before I begin, sorry, was I muted? I'll start again. I want to take the time to recognize that all the projects in this presentation are located on Treaty Number 3, Number 5, and Number 9, James Bay Treaty and Robinson Superior Treaty areas. While these treaties and adhesions were signed between 1850 and 1930, it is important to acknowledge how important these treaties still are today. Additionally, while this conference is virtual, we can all recognize the cooperation of our Indigenous partners in the work that takes place on their traditional land use areas. Okay, so a brief overview. The Resident Geologist Program is composed of 8 district offices geographically and geologically dispersed throughout the province of Ontario. Each district monitors and stimulates the economically and environmentally sound development of the province's geology and mineral resources. So generally, if you have a geological question in the district, reach out to your RGP geological staff and we're there to help. Specifically in the Northwest region, the regional office is within the city of Thunder Bay, which houses the regional manager, regional land use geologist, Aboriginal geoscience liaison, and the mineral development branch staff, as well as the Thunder Bay South and Thunder Bay North district offices. Additionally, there's district offices in the communities of Red Lake and Kenora. On this slide, you can see the advanced mineral projects all throughout Northwestern Ontario, with significant gold projects in Thunder Bay North and Red Lake, as well as significant platinum group element projects in Thunder Bay South. So to begin with, I'll start in the Red Lake district with Madsen Gold Project owned by Pure Gold Mining. This deposit is southwest of Red Lake in the town of Madsen, and it's a historical producer within the community. The company declared commercial production August 1st of this year, and they reached their mill capacity milestone of 1,000 tons per day in September. Currently, the company is completing exploration or development towards an exploration drift to drill the 8th zone from underground. The 8th zone is a high-grade zone. It has an indicated resource of 301,000 ounces at 20.47 grams per ton. And the company is also working on exploration at the Wedge, Gap, Treasure Box, Derelac, and the Number 1 vein. Next is the Bateman Gold Project, owned by Evolution Mining. Sorry, I'm just moving my thing here. This is owned by Evolution Mining, which acquired this property and the company Battle North Gold, which previously was called Phoenix Gold. It hosts the McFinley Gold Deposit, which includes significant underground development. There's a shaft that goes 730 meters down below surface and a fully functioning mill. The company completed a feasibility study early in January 2021, which included an 8-year life of mine. Currently, Evolution Mining has completed ventilation work at the property, and they're completing infill diamond drilling underground to confirm the geology and the grade continuity throughout the McFinley deposit. Next is the Springpole Gold property owned by First Mining Gold. This property is 110 kilometers northeast of Red Lake, and they completed a positive pre-feasibility study early this year, which included an average annual gold production of 335,000 ounces per year over 11 years. Over the 11 years at an all-in sustaining cost of 645 ounces per ounce. Near the property is a logging road and power line within 40 kilometers of the property, which gives good access. So there's good infrastructure. Recently, the company received provincial notice of approval of environmental assessment terms of reference. And the company is working towards a feasibility study expected Q1 of next year and completed in Q2 of 2023. So, large probable resource here of 3.8 million ounces. Next is the PAK project. This is a lithium project owned by Frontier Lithium, located 175 kilometers north of Red Lake. Recently, they've also discovered new pegmatites, including the Spark and Bolt pegmatite. And the Ontario government has made a contribution of $363,000 towards the company piloting a proprietary process at a mini pilot plant. And additionally, the company has announced that they've produced battery quality lithium hydroxide from this mini pilot plant. The resource estimate currently includes almost 6 million tons at 1.81% lithium oxide. And the company is working towards a pre-feasibility study. They're currently drilling and doing metallurgical work at the property. Next, into the Kenora district is the Goliath Gold Complex owned by Treasury Metals. This property is 20 kilometers east of Dryden, and the company completed a PEA earlier this year on all three deposits, the Goliath, Goldland, and Miller. Currently, the company is working on completing a 60,000 meter drill program, infilling and expanding the resource at all three deposits at the complex. And they're looking at an updated resource in Q1 of 2022. The current PEA included a mine life of 13 years, producing 102,000 ounces each year for the first 9 years. Next is Separation Rapids project owned by Avalon Advanced Materials. The company completed a PEA in 2018, which included a measured resource of 3.3 million tons at 1.4% lithium oxide. The company is in the process of completing a bulk sample, and they're looking at other uses for the main minerals at the deposit. So the primary minerals at Separation Rapids at the Big Whopper include lepidolite and pedalite. Pedalite's the main mineral, and they'd be producing almost 72,000 tons a year and almost 12,000 tons a year of lepidolite. Pedalite is primarily used in high-end glass and ceramics, so the screen on your cell phone, and the company is actively investigating other uses for pedalite, primarily battery usage for EVs. The company recently signed a letter of intent with Rocktech Lithium to collaborate on a battery material processing facility in Thunder Bay. Next is the AMI project, or Bending Lake, owned by Ambershaw Metallics. This is an iron ore deposit located southwest of Ignace. Currently, the company is working on environmental impact statement and acquiring all their permits within 2022. They have a permit to remove 100,000 ton bulk sample to create a large concentrate sample, and they're actively working on metallurgical work at the property. Mineral resource that was completed in 2011, it has an indicated resource of 185 million tons at 29% magnetite. Next is the Greenstone project owned by Equinox Gold Greenstone Gold Mines. Obviously, this is a gold project. It's a 60-40 JV between Equinox Gold and Orion Mine Finance Corp. And they completed an updated feasibility study in December 2020 with a proven and probable resource of 135 million tons for 5.5 million ounces. The company would be looking at producing their gold at below $700 an ounce, and construction was initiated in Q4 of this year, with first gold pour expected in the first half of 2024. Next is the Ring of Fire, owned by Noront Resources. This is a PG copper, nickel, and chromite deposit. There's significant chromite deposits, including Black Thor, Big Daddy, and Blackbird, as well as the main nickel copper PG, which is Eagle's Nest. Their company is planning to update the PEA on Eagle's Nest and Blackbird. One thing that's of interest with Eagle's Nest is The mine would be completely underground with no tailings on surface. And additionally, BHP and Wyloo Metals are currently bidding to take over the assets in the company. Next, Marathon Palladium and Copper Project owned by Generation Mining Limited. This is PG copper deposit located just north of Marathon with a feasibility completed early last year. It included a 13-year mine life producing 245,000 ounces palladium equivalent ounces at an all-in sustaining cost of $809 an ounce. The company is looking at beginning construction in 2022 with full production beginning in 2025. Of all the ore that would be mined at this deposit, 58% of their revenue would be coming from palladium, 27% from copper, 9% from platinum, the remainder from gold and silver. Next is the Georgia Lake Lithium project owned by RockTech Lithium. The company has primarily done the majority of their work in the northern half of their property, where they completed a positive PEA with initial capex of $353 million. The property is located within the Quetico subprovince. The pegmatites are either irregular bodies or thin dike sills and lenses composed of albite spodumene. The main zones that have been drilled to date include the Main Zone North, Main Zone Southwest, Conway, Harricana, and Line 60. And the company is expecting a pre-feasibility study in early 2022. Next, the Thunder Bay North project owned by Clean Air Metals. This is a PG copper nickel project, which actually includes two deposits, Current Lake and Escape Lake. At Escape Lake, the company is finishing up a 30,000 meter drill program. And they've had intercepts such as 21.3 meters of 4.8 grams per ton palladium equivalent ounces. And they've completed a 10,000 meter drill program at Current Lake with intercepts such as 3.1 grams per ton palladium equivalent. The company is expecting an updated PEA in Q4 2022, as well as an updated resource for specifically Escape Lake in Q1 of 2022. Next is the BAM gold deposit owned by Landor Resources Limited. The company completed a PEA in 2019, which would include an open pit design on the property here with a 6.25 year mine life, which could be extended by almost 8 years. Currently, the company is working on a 23,000 meter drill program, infilling and extending the BAM gold deposit, while almost 22,000 meters have been drilled from 94 holes. And the BAM gold deposit is hosted within the Grass Pond Sill, as well as the BAM sequence. And the BAM sequence is primarily a clastic sedimentary unit. So those are all the advanced mining projects in Northwestern Ontario. This map sort of shows all the significant claim acquisitions within Northwestern Ontario. So all the light green, those are all new claims as of November 2020, last year. So there's been significant uptake in claims in the Red Lake Greenstone Belt, the Red Lake District, as well as the Pickle Lake Greenstone Belt. And the hot commodities are gold, PGs, and lithium. So some of the up and coming projects in Northwestern Ontario include the Dixie project owned by Great Bear Resources, which is a gold project. It's located just south of the municipality of Red Lake. And the main zone at the deposit is the LP Fault, currently over a 4.2 kilometer strike length. Within the LP Fault, it's a large, low-grade bulk tonnage zone. And within that, the company is currently delineated or modeled 23 high-grade domains within that large bulk tonnage zone, primarily hosted within felsic volcanics. Outside of that LP Fault, the company has more typical Red Lake style zones, such as the Dixieland Zone, Hinge Zone, and the newly discovered Midwest Zone. All those zones appear to be within Balmer volcanics, and they're either, Red Lake typical vein hosted or within replacement style mineralization. And the company is currently completing their phase 2 drilling at the LP Fault, infilling and testing at depth. And they're also testing regional targets across the Dixie project property. Next is Pickle Lake, owned by Artidin Limited. It includes the Cascaminis, Dobie, and Dorothy properties all across Pickle Lake. And they're currently, they were drilling at Dobie, and Dorothy. But starting in January 2022, the company will be starting a 12,000 meter drill program with 7,000 meters at Esker, Dorothy, and Dobie, which are here. And as well, Casca-Minis deposit has a current JORC resource of 110,000 ounces at 4.3 grams per ton. And lastly, the company is reinterpreting historical seismic data that's been completed in here. Next is Donna Lake, owned by Meadows Creek Resource Corp. This is a gold property. It's optioned from Newmont. There's the past producing Donna Lake mine, which produced almost 245,000 ounces at a grade of 7.4 grams per ton. The company has completed 6 drill holes of a 5,000 meter drill program, drilling around known stoped out material, as well as at depth of this iron formation deposit. Next is the Tycho Palladium deposit. The Tycho, it's a nickel copper PG deposit with multiple deposits such as Tycho and Smoke Lake. Smoke Lake, they're all metamorphosed gabbros and pyroxenite. In particular, Smoke Lake is massive sulfides, while the Tycho zone is semi-massive sulfide breccias. And going forward into 2022, the company plans to complete regional and resource drilling throughout. Lastly, Pickle Crow, owned by Oteco Minerals. It hosts the past producing Pickle Crow mine. The company is continuing a 50,000 meter drill program, and the ore is hosted primarily in basalt and banded iron formation. And in the banded iron formation, you get broad alteration zones of gold. And the company is also additionally looking at to drill from underground, as there is development underground here, which will allow them to infill the resource much easier. And lastly, just some of the products the RGP, or Resident Geologist Program, has. Includes our month-end reports. Each month, we complete a report of activity in all the 8 districts across the province. You can find those as a KML to use in Google Earth, or you can download a tabular, put it in tabular format. And lastly, our annual report of activities that'll be released. There'll be a new one released in 2021, which again is sort of all the month-end reports summarized, as well as any mining activity, and as well as a snapshot of our recommendations for exploration. So thank you.
Paul, thank you so much. Outstanding job giving us just a great summary of what's going on in the region. And there's so much. I mean, in a broad context, Paul, you know, and we're all mining people and been connected to the industry. How, if you met somebody in an elevator and they said to you, "You're from Northwestern Ontario," and they said, "What do you do?" "I'm the resident geologist." And how would you describe to somebody what's happening in this part of the world, all this activity?
Well, for one, the price of gold's been up significantly, so that you could say there's been like a renaissance of interest in gold, particularly in Red Lake and Pickle Lake. So that makes a big difference. Companies looking at, you know, historically producing mines that, you know, maybe they stopped producing when the price of gold went down to, let's say, $300 an ounce, and it wasn't economic. But I think today it was at like 1820, so that changes the whole ball game. And then just, you know, nickel and lithium, those are in particular, those are very important minerals for, I'm sure we all know about, you know, the push for electrifying vehicles throughout North America. So there's a lot of potential for mining those very important green metals. And Ontario's endowed with a lot of it.
That's a great way to put it. I love that word, endowed with so much potential. So, Paul, I know that we do have another session coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We don't have a lot of time for questions, so we got started a couple of minutes later than we would have wanted to. But anyway, Paul, thank you for such a great overview. Ryan asks, is there a similar presentation available for Northeastern Ontario? I think I know the answer to that. I think the answer is yes. Every resident geologist has these kind of assets. So Ryan, if you want to reach out to Paul, he can put you in touch with somebody. If not, just go to your Google machine and look up the resident geologist for Northeastern Ontario. And one of them is, as I always forget her, Zainab Azadbak. great lady. She'll be more than glad to get you that information. So Paul, once again, thank you for your great presentation this morning. And I'm sure that people are going to take a keen interest. We did record the session, so if you know somebody that wants to see this presentation who couldn't make it here this morning, wow, what a great turnout. We ended up with well over 75 people here this morning. Thank you everyone for being here.